Hello. Everything's being really slow on my computer, so you think so, Mike? I wonder if we're talking about the same thing because I didn't tag old Murbadoodle in it. Do I need help? Yep. Hey, Sandy, Dana. Yep. So what? Sorry, my computer's being really slow. Mayor's daughter. Could I do you a favor? Hey, Sammy. I can try. Hey, Brenda. Tammy. Hey, for your grandma. Sorry. Dadgummit, y'all. I have really good internet, so I don't know what see if this one's fast. Me too, Scott. Me too. Hey, Thing One. Good to see you. Uh, well, we need a decision, right? Let me pull this up. I'm trying, y'all. Hey, Mickey. Knitting. Hola. Destined. Hmm. Okay, there it is. Slowly getting there, y'all. Hey, our Brian. Barb. Oh, I'm telling you, that's a one beautiful family. Absolutely beautiful. Hey, Simon. Good to see you. Hey, Dana Leslie. Couldn't decide if I have stuff I have to do tomorrow, and I really wanted to. He needs to be. I can't read that. Hey, Tolbert, Blaze, everybody coming in. Thank you, thank you. Your notes and court sketches are everything. Yes, they were. Sandy killed it as usual. She's just a great. She's just great at everything. We're going to go and look at the paperwork where, because of course, as we know, Merb's attorney filed. I will send you more details. I'm on the phone. Oh, okay, okay. We're going to talk about this other thing, but hey, Body Cat, welcome. I know it's so good to be home, but look, I had a great time. Um, I rode in a cab in New York. Uh, Survived that. I even got a shirt that says I survived a New York cab ride. Did Jim steal your hat yet? No, he has one something like it. I don't know, Pammy. I think that why I want to read it. It what was he? I don't know what he was thinking. Like I can't even get. Um, I can't even get over it. That's crazy. Mayor's daughter is sending me an article about something that happened today in Kentucky. A man apparently ended up shooting. He shot four people, possibly killed two. I think it says. My goodness, can't wait till the court files. Like, I look before I came live. I made sure we couldn't read out the new ones. No, I haven't seen them. Haven't read them. Haven't anything. But delay for what? Can't right. That's the thing is before we left there, the judge said, he said, I want to do this. Hey, Tina Moore, while this is fresh on my mind. And, it seems like it would have been some sort of respect. I think it is tomorrow, Vicky. I think that the decision will be made tomorrow. Um, but the thing that to me shows zero respect for the judge or his time. And I think, okay, my opinion is they are going to do whatever it takes to cost more money, to cost Heather more money, Jackie more money, more time, more worry. Um, Judge granted delay to protect against an appeal. Merv too dumb to realize that. Well, this look, it's civil. You automatically, are due an appeal. Hey, PJ, good to see you. But the thing is, this is just because you're granted an appeal, it doesn't mean it's not going to be flattened out quickly. This judge is, I love you. Okay, Mayor's daughter, I love you too. This judge is doing everything, dotting every I, crossing every T. He's going to make sure that this, because look, he even said it's too bad that this couldn't have been settled. And I don't think there's a soul except for Merb who doesn't agree with that. Oh, I can't look. When y'all hear the transcripts, it's going to prove that Merb is lying about how people behaved. And I can see, now let me say this, I can see where it might be a bit intimidating. Intimidating is not the word, because no one there was violent, or I'm so glad you got to be with me too, PJ. It was so wonderful. Good to see you too, Calamity. Um, but I would think if I'm on trial, I mean, this wasn't even really a trial, but I'm on the stand and I look out and I see no one on my side except for the people that have to be there, which that's your spouse. um, hey TC, I'm good. I'm good. 2% of these reach trial phase. Yeah. Uncomfortably overwhelming. There you go, Simon. That's a good word. Yes, I'm sure that's how she felt. But instead of saying that, it was, we all showed up to, I don't know, harass and stalk and, bullshit. Sparky knew the judge asked if there was any problems with the options he suggested. Well, and he did. Well, look, there was an absolute choice to be made that day. They could have pleaded their case that day or done the memorandum. They had a choice, and her attorney agreed to do the memorandum and then didn't do it. So that's what's, to me, that's just a big fat sign of disrespect. And I don't, right, where your grandma, all about her, situation normal, all about her. It's nuts what she said. What she said, look, what she says is what she says, and we're going to prove everything that she says. It's not true. But I'm telling y'all, once we get the transcripts, whatever the outcome is, y'all are going to see how the judge felt. It's just really, maybe he was going by the second district timeline, right, Tina Moore? From start to finish, it's all been a delay. Exactly, exactly. Look, if I hadn't had to get on the road that morning, I wanted to go live so bad because I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And I think I was like, I was mad at myself for not even seeing that coming. Lots of popcorn, our Brian. You get lots of popcorn for these transcripts. Listen, you want the popcorn. Thing one, I hate that we didn't get to spend any time together. But I think we need to do another plan where we can all just hang out a day. I don't know how, what, when, where, but it was too good of a. That's the one thing that we can thank Merb for. Um, is bringing us together. I still can't believe she took her kids. Vicky, same, and she will never see that she did wrong by taking them. Hearing everyone's laughs, absolutely, absolutely. I think it's a good idea. I really think we would love to get together with no trial to go to, even with no trial. Yeah, me too. Yeah, I didn't have long either. Thing one, and maybe next year. No travels for me this year. Okay. Yeah, it's not. I don't know. I know that you don't realize what a blessing everyone is, and then you look around and you think, wow, these people really like me, and I don't know, it was kind of great. And Merv, I think, there are people out there who hate you. I'm not one. I don't hate you. I'm nothing you. I don't like you. I don't hate you. I just think that you are a waste of humanity. That's what I think. I think that you don't know how to treat people. And I can only base that on how, and I would say that, hey, Whistle Down, have a beer on me. Amazing coverage, Randy. Thank you. Thank you so much. Um, Me too, Sandy Law. I think we took it serious that we were all held to the no. The closing had to be about the evidence. Yes, yes. Um, oh, Pammy, you live so close. We can go to dinner. Just let me know when and where. Judge's first rodeo. Exactly. I think that's what she's forgetting, Enchanted, that this is not the first time this judge has watched someone be a victim on purpose. There's someone who is an absolute victim, and then there's a purposeful victim. And, you know, been on camera. She hasn't been on camera for days. Can't hide your lies, murder. Oh, I haven't even flipped over to see what she's even talked about. I've I don't know. I know it wouldn't. We can, Pammy. Wouldn't interest me. Uh, I have went and looked at the titles and it's Blaze. It's crazy money. Faux victim. Oh, good word. Faux victim. The judge, I believe, Vicky, that he absolutely will see through her. I don't see how he can't. But it'd be different if this was his first day, like her lawyers. But Murray believes she is the smartest person in the room. Bright, loving life. And here's what: you're never the smartest one in the room. Never. No, no, no one that thinks it's your birthday. Happy birthday, Rosebud. Wow, wonderful. This is your birthday song. It isn't very long. Woo. I think Wendy's asleep. He saw through her before he met her. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, and I think is look, this was a mistake. This was a mistake to file an extension. That was a huge mistake, in my opinion. That's just how when I read it, I thought, wow, hey, Aaron, good to see you. What a dumb thing to do. File an extension. What you thinking? I don't know. I just think that was I don't know. I'm gonna read it. So it's good to see you, Aaron. I hope you're doing well. Only motions that ever green lighted for her surgery. Huh? Are extensions the only motions he has ever greenlighted for her surgery? Oh, no. Yes. Yes. Hey, Sully. Trying to talk small talk with a judge. Destined. Exactly. He was, and Murr did too. They are suing each other in the channels. I hang around Bullhorn has been suing Queen Bee for 2 years and keeps dragging it out. Mm-mm-mm. Who keeps dragging it? Bullhorn Betty? Stupid auto crack. I think she's okay and chilling. Absolutely. Are the only motions Metro has ever gotten approved or extended? I think so. Yeah, that's the only motions that he's ever filed that the judge, you know, if the judge doesn't say okay on this, then they can come back and say, well, we didn't have enough time. We put in a motion and it didn't get granted, and that's going to be grounds for a new one. So, just covering his, covering everything so he doesn't have to hear this again. Because I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, Diamond, Lucicity, sit here and say that he didn't think that the entire thing was ridiculous, because here's why. These are judges who hear the worst of the worst cases, especially, think about being, in New York. Hey, Samara, am I sure? My screen just went. Okay. Yes, I'm sure that well, here's what I'm sure of, Samara. I'm sure that it's supposed to happen tomorrow. That's the only thing that I'm sure of. Me too, loving life. It was just great getting to meet everybody and just hug on people. And so let's read this paperwork. Let me see. I was hoping that Wendy would be here. It's hard to I'm gonna share Florida Great. They've changed StreamYard. Let me see. What in the world? Can I share the screen? Wait a minute, y'all. They've changed StreamYards completely. Present or invite is over here. Let me see. I don't like the update. It's way too expensive for y'all to be just fooling with it. Okay, so this is the new one filed. Well, not the very newest, but July 10th, 2025. Dear Judge Karras, I don't know. I write to request an extension of time to file post-trial memorandum in the above referenced, I can't talk, referenced matter. At the close of trial on July 7th, Your Honor gave the parties until Friday, July 11th, to submit post-trial memorandum of law. In an inconvenient matter of timing, which, because it was the night before, I must submit to a random trust account records audit tomorrow, July 11th, by the New Jersey State Bar. I cannot postpone, as I already sought accommodation to attend trial in this matter on July 7th. Which, look, we know that he had planned for this trial. Let me pull up the chat on my phone. They had planned for this trial to run at least 4 days. I don't believe you, sir, at all. I don't believe that hold on. There we are. I don't believe that he had something already come up, and I mean, I just don't, because how do you forget that? I just me thinks you're a fibber. the simultaneous obligations are in conflict and more time is needed to thoroughly present, I can't talk, y'all, I'm sorry, defendant's final arguments. Brantley, thank you for being a member for 31 months. I love you too. Did you just have a birthday? I agree, whistle down. So this is plaintiff's counsel, Jonathan A. L.A., I don't know, Phillips Esquire, refused consent, fearing, Your Honor, wanted to consider the submissions over the weekend and hold argument early next week. What? Despite Mr. Phillips' objection, the circumstances warrant a short extension until Monday, July 14th, for the parties to submit their post-trial memorandum. With no previous extensions of this deadline, I respectfully request an extension until Monday, July 14th, for the parties to submit their post-trial memorandum. Thank you for considering this matter. Now, since this was the night before, my question is this. What if the judge had said no? Does that mean that it wouldn't have gotten done? Because this was the night before and he obviously had not finished his memorandum. I don't know, Diamond Lucidity. It seems like 4 days, 5 days at the most. I mean, I think even up till that last day, I think what he was saying to the judge is he was questioning being an attorney. And for some reason, he thought the judge was going to be a mentor to him. No, he didn't want to hear your crap. So here is Heather's attorney's response. Wait, was it your birthday? Yes, ma'am, on Friday. Okay, I thought I heard that. Happy birthday. I hope it was wonderful. When I was young, I pulled this stuff with book reports. See, Pammy B, that's the thing. I never did. I just did my work. Now I procrastinate terribly now, but in school, I got my work done because I wanted it to be done correctly and I wanted it out off my mind. Dear Judge Caress, I write to clarify plaintiff's position. First and foremost, plaintiff deferred to the court's desire to reach a decision while it's fresh on the court's mind. Exactly. That is what the judge said. I want to do this while this is fresh on my mind. Exactly, Warrior Grandma. Plaintiff's counsel have worked tirelessly to have a memorandum ready for filing, and plaintiff too wishes for this to be considered promptly. Exactly. Get it over with. Rip the Band-Aid off. You know, defendant sought an extension at 4:19 p.m. the day before the deadline. Let that sink in, everybody. 4:19 p.m. The only given reason, quote, we've worked this case hard and I could use the weekend to finalize. Give us both a chance to breathe. I don't think Judge Carras would mind considering, end quote. Plaintiff responded, quote, Judge Carras stated he wanted to consider this while it was fresh on his mind. There's a very good chance that he wants to consider it over the weekend with us arguing early next week. Right. As such, we are not in a position to agree to an extension. We have worked very hard to ensure we can meet that deadline, and we think it is appropriate to assume the deadline will not be moved. Hardly unreasonable. So, exactly, for them to think, it's not unreasonable for them to think, hey, this date is going down, it's written, so be it. Come on. Only then did defendant provide a reason, and it was not seen by plaintiff's counsel until after the defendant's letter motion was filed. The late provided reason was that that existed when the deadlines was set on Monday. Defendant did not raise the issue then, and defendant's counsel suggested the problematic obligation could be postponed as it was before, but he did not want to postpone it again. Given the timing of the request, it is submitted that the extension should be denied, as more dilatory tactics are shown by the 11th hour timing of the request, and granting the extension will prejudice plaintiff. The case will be less fresh in the court's mind, and it's a little bit smaller. Has extended resources to meet the set deadline. I don't know. It's cut off. Defendant could post litigation. I don't know, without apparent consequence, but postponing. Oh, wait, that's what this is the judge's response. Hey, more than enough. Hey, everybody. Okay, so it's cut off, but he went ahead and granted it, but he said, but postponing the memorandum, and it's cut off, does have consequences. That would scare me, Merb, as it should scare you. That should scare you. It's going to have. So let that sink in. They were willing to go this far to cost more money, go past the deadline, exactly. And you're going to face the consequences. Who would want that? Who would? Who would want that? Stay near a conflict rather than saying he has a conflict. It speaks volumes. It speaks that they have no respect for the court. Yeah, I don't know how that works, Enchanted. I don't know. I just think that the lack of respect for the law, and then put in your title that you give the best true crime coverage because you read what articles? Come on. But yet you can't follow the law? I don't know. I say make up your mind, Judge, and see if anyone's final can change his mind. And that may be what he's doing. Certifiable, exactly, Lumpy Space. I mean, I can say, for me, it brought great joy. I got to see the people that I care about. I got to see the Statue of Liberty. I saw the 9/11 memorial, all that, I didn't go shopping and, I did I don't know, the things that I can tell my grandkids about. Emily Baker would have a field day with these motions. Hear her saying it's her policy not speaking about an ongoing trial. Right. Exactly, Sandy Law. I saw you. Made me so happy. No, I didn't. I did not go to the M&M store. No. And guess what? I didn't get afraid one time in New York. And there was times I was alone. Not afraid at all. I would be, Vicky, I would be freaking out. Hey, Kathy, I would be completely freaked out. Tina Moore, I did not know who you were until just now. I had a blast seeing my mom happy. She was so happy. When she's been speaking about it for months. And the night, hey, Florida Gray. And the night before, she was live talking about how terrible. Thank you, Tina. How terrible Heather's attorney was and wrong about everything. What happened to that energy, Merb? You got a little humbled. But the thing is, hey, Davita, if anything was to happen, you would absolutely, that humbleness that you're feeling right now is going to go out the window. And that's a shame. Yes, PJ, it's the same. Word for word, someone else is writing and research. Exactly. Exactly. Copyright infringement. It's hard up. For you times me and Pussycat were going to get in trouble. Where is Pussycat? She's great. She did get in a little bit of trouble after you left, Sandy. But hey, 80s girl, her new policy must be killing her. She has never kept her mouth shut. It's because she's afraid to speak out because she doesn't know how it's going to go. I know exactly what she's doing. Okay, Warrior Grandma, it looks pretty bad, but I haven't. I've only read what she sent. The gasping was uncontrollable at some points, right? Diamond, I'd say absolutely she will. So when will the verdict come in? I don't know. I don't know. That what I'm telling you, she's like they used it for their entertainment, and I know. I think I've already said, but yes, because you made it entertaining. I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have made it entertaining. I would have went in there and acted like exactly the way Heather behaved. Exactly. Hey, Lori D, good to see you. Hey, let's give away some memberships while we're here. Let me see. Membership gifting. Let's see who wins one. Lori D, Vicky, welcome. Sandra Louise, welcome. Hey, Alan, good to see you. Hey, Steady. Our Brian, welcome. Sammy Smith, welcome. I hope y'all stay. I hope Monday, maybe not until Tuesday. It definitely could go over into Tuesday because he's got a lot of thinking to do. But does he? I don't know. And I wonder what thank you so much for the Cash App, PJ. I appreciate that very much. Waiting on this is like waiting on your income tax money, right? Just, oh, it's been so long. Oh, you're welcome, Lori D. Steady as we go. How have you been? New members? We do have member emojis, and I need to up them. I need to change them around some. I definitely should have changed them for the MERB trial. I think they make up their mind. Yeah, I think it's, I can't, there's no way that I know what the judge is thinking, that I think he's already driving over my mom's. I will be a listening. Okay. Right. Speaking of, if you're here, please hit the thumbs up. Davida, how are you doing? You have such a beautiful home. Um, I don't even know what else to say. I hate that I put this live off to talk about that she. Oh, anyway, what I was saying. Miss you too, Steady. It's I don't know what the judge is thinking, so I can't say. Well, he's already made his mind up, but I don't know. I know that she can't say he has not been fair because you could not tell what he was thinking. Right, Enchanted? If I wait a little while, the Christmas emojis will be in season again. Look, it won't be that long now. I might as well keep them, huh? Soon, and I don't know exactly how I'm going to do this because I'm going to go to the Stearns trial, but it probably not the CSAM trial. Okay, it's just too much and too soon. But definitely want to cover it. I want to see him burn so bad, and uh, hmm. Oh, I didn't know. Lori, he's got to be thinking that suspect dead, 2 women in the church killed, officer injured. Wow. I think I did read where they shot the suspect. Got to go. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for coming. It's good to see you. He's got to be thinking what's wrong with. But yeah, I'm sure that he looked out at all of us and thought, "What's wrong with these women?" I'm sure he thought that, but he doesn't understand unless you are in it, unless you're living it, you don't get it. Um, YouTube is not something I talk to my kids about. My oldest daughter, she knows a little bit, but that's it. My other two, they could not care less about what's happening on YouTube. And that is, I hope you, I don't, the other one, yes. Yeah, that's, Pammy, that's exactly he's not going to give her any dignity because he is just a disgusting excuse for a human. But me too, Sheila. Sheila? I wish he could. I think he knew. Sandy, I have a feeling that he knew while we were there. Because, there was a point where Heather spoke up on the stand and said, because they were trying to play games and say, "Did you say that?" Oh, mine do too, thing one. "Did you say that you've already won this trial?" Which that was something that Merb had written down for him to read, by the way. Watched her do it. Yes, you did. Like that would have any bearing on the judge whatsoever. And Heather gave the most excellent answer. She said, "For all these people to get to speak their truth and what has been done to them, yes." Boom. Mic drop right there. And I think that's when he set his little ass down because there was nothing more he could say. "I'm only 1.5 hours from Lexington, 2 from Louisville." Oh, Shamat. Hey, Tawanda. Pray all goes well for everyone. Heather deserves her truth out. Absolutely. Just say she'll. I will be happy. Okay. Yeah. There's hell to the no. Yeah, when she said that, it was a chef's kiss moment, and there's no better way to put it. She said the right thing at the right time and meant it. No, you know, she didn't have to practice it. She said the truth. If you've seen the channel that knows someone who has been Stern's pen pal. His mommy made him cut the pen pal off. No. You know, there's no way I could ever be. I wonder what goes through his sorry mind, but I know I could never write him a letter and stay calm. Yes, you could have a link. Let me figure it out though. Let me figure out how they've changed. Invite guest. Okay. There you go. I don't like the layout, StreamYards. My sisters lived in Louisville for a while. They don't now, but see, a lot of times I'll be in someone's state and think because I'm in that state, I can just swing by their house, and that is obviously not at all. Because I was going through Kentucky. I'm like, "Hey, I'm in Kentucky," but I was like, I don't know, 4 hours away from Shamat. Hey,
Hey, girl. Can
um,
you hear me okay?
yes,
Let me turn this off.
Nana
I'm out
Patty.
here in the carport. I just wanted to clarify a couple of things. Thank you for speaking out and explaining things to everybody. Um, I don't know much any more than any of us. And when I did speak to my attorney after the extension, it didn't really give me any better knowledge of how soon this would happen. I assume, and this is just my assumption, that the paperwork is due tomorrow at 5, the same as it was Friday. So I don't know if we would get a verdict tomorrow unless it's quicker and at night or and then there's the whole thing about hearing the motions, I guess you would call it. I'm not sure the exact wording, but another conference call.
Mm,
So Jonathan explained that, well, they would set that at earliest convenience. So I don't know. He just said sometime early this week, we should have a verdict. Again, that has to do with this call and when that's scheduled. I would assume tomorrow. I don't know after 5 or before then if the judge goes ahead and schedules it. I don't know if he reads the papers and says, I don't see a need to. You know what I mean? I don't know. It didn't sound like that conference call was a have to. So again, I'm not clear on that either. I just don't want everybody thinking tomorrow at 5 o'clock we should have a verdict. I mean, yes, I would love, 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 love. But I don't feel like they'll turn their paperwork in early.
yeah,
So, you know, that's all I know. But yeah, it's just, um, that's really all I wanted to clarify. Is that I really don't know anything else other than he'll call me as soon as he knows something, and it's just crazy how this is. I just assumed a lot of things when you go, and you think when you leave you're going to know something, and I just didn't think about the fact that federal judges a lot of times take weeks and months to decide. So I guess we are kind of fortunate on that. He seems like he's going to get right on this. Um, But again, I really thought at the end, after normal closing, he would have gone in his chambers, thought about it a minute, came back out. That might not have ever happened. I just went in there thinking that. And
yeah,
apparently, sometimes this can happen, or a lot of times, whatever. So we've had this happen so many times. It is discouraging to everyone. I was heartbroken that day when we left that it didn't end on Monday. And then to go to Friday, you know what I mean? Like I just was already, and then here we go again. But I just believe uh, I just believe that the door opening for this granting him an extension was not really cool at all. I mean, I think the judge did what hey, he's a judge. I'm not saying anything against him. I think for the betterment of the future of appeals. But again, like there were so many holes in that story. If you knew before Monday, according to what we looked up under New Jersey, they get 10 days advance notice on these audits. And it doesn't take very long. You can also have someone else in your office that can stand in for you if they know where the things are, I guess, whatever. But if he knew to prolong it from Monday, then we were supposed to be in scheduled at least till Thursday. So I mean, again, maybe they scheduled it for Friday already, but if they did, then you would have said something Monday. I mean, in the call to Jonathan to try and convince him that we could have longer and we could this, and Jonathan was like, mm-mm. But I don't think anything was mentioned, and if it was, that's kind of how the story kind of was real shady.
hmm,
Again, just my opinion, but anyway, I just don't believe that this won't have some kind of repercussion. I mean, all I could think of is that had been my attorney, I, I would have been walking on water like Jesus. I'd been so upset. I mean, honestly,
hmm,
I would absolutely. If Jonathan would have pulled something, holy cow! I just don't think this is ever the time. I mean, when my attorney told me long ago, the federal judge could even override my just community jury duty. You know what I mean? Like if he decided to have court during that, then so I don't even know. I just was flabbergasted. And again, that we waited till last minute because again, I know I'm stupid, but I can count. We left Monday evening, let's just say. We won't even count Monday. You had Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You could have stayed up all night Thursday night finishing it and get it on in right before your audit.
yeah,
When the weekend before trial, don't forget, he was too busy the week before. He didn't want to be bothered on the 4th. The paperwork was due the 3rd. That didn't make any sense about the 4th of July. And where I'm from, 3 comes before 4. But okay, so and then the weekend of trial, he's deep sea fishing or whatever the thing was.
Mhm.
But that night he stays up all night and enters like 4 or 5 more motions. So again, I mean, I'm just saying, I
Right.
know for sure my attorney has been non-stop for weeks before this happened. 100%. Because I know I was on the phone with him quite a few times and other things he would comment. Like, I'm not saying 24 hours of his day, no, but it was crossed out in his book for quite a while preparing. I also know that I just know him. He's so well organized. I guarantee you, he already had his closing laid out. And yes, you have to tweak it because things happen during court that change some of it, some things added. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's kind of a like a that would be very common. And this memorandum of facts and evidence or whatever, that's my version of what it is. Um, it is truly that, facts and evidence.
Right.
It's not an opinion. It's not like, in a true crime, we say all what we think really happened or what we think we proved, or, there's a lot of little blah, blah, blah in between. This is not. So I'll be anxious because I don't think he does that very well. But, again, I hope um, all is well and they get their little paper in and all. But it's not a time for victim impact statements. It's not opinions. It's not, you can't just say, um, as the judge got on to her one time, for your narrative. You can't just have a narrative. You can't just keep talking. You know what I mean? Like, you just, whatever. So that's just my opinion. And I just want to throw that out and just tell you kind of what I heard from Jonathan, and which anything. It still doesn't give me a deadline. I'm hopeful by Wednesday. I'm hoping at the latest. But again, at this rate, I- you know, I just feel like this week for 100%, yes. I feel like Jonathan, it should be towards the front of the week. But you know what I mean? Again, depending on when the judge has scheduled to do this motion conference call or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
So we'll see. But y'all, thank y'all for the prayers and the positive vibes. And the only thing I can say, and I've said it 100 times already, is there wasn't anything else we could have done. 100% was given by the lawyers there. And I feel like, there's a few things I wish I could have changed a little in my answer. Some of it I don't even remember yet. But I really felt like I gave it I really think we couldn't have done any better. And I've never been more proud of those guys. And the other new partner that came, I met her. She was really sweet. But, I had dealt with those two more and at the end. And I just was so humble. Absolutely. And I told Jonathan, I said, I have thought about you every moment. I know y'all are working hard on this. I have all the confidence in 100%. I don't even know how to put it into words. I just know. I know.
Mhm.
How things happen, I'm still proud. 100%. Just like that question. Oh, you think you already won, right? You've been going around. Yes, we already had. The community had already won before this. 100%. And I stood on it.
Absolutely.
And I
Yep.
explained, you don't treat these people that way. Thousands of people left and came over and shared their story or listened or, yes, 100%. It warned people. That's exactly what an awareness channel does. And I've never been prouder. And yes, I already feel like we won. 100%. And that was
Yeah,
the
no
end.
matter the outcome, and especially, when we showed the transcripts, oh my
Mhm.
gosh.
I know. There was something last night I thought about. I think it's when my attorney played a clip of her and he couldn't get it to work at the time. And so they were trying to get somebody from Techno to come down, and eventually Jonathan hits it and it starts to play. So he immediately pauses it and he asks the judge permission. He's like, yes. And it just blares. And I just remember kind of,
Mhm.
and I couldn't really see her unless she was flopping like a fish. And she went into having convulsions over there. She was so freaking mad, hollering about,
Yes.
that's out of context. And, blah, 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 blah. And I said, oh my God, the visual of what I could see in the audio, like, I don't think reading it in that moment, you could just really understand. She was so pissed off. Oh my God, she was so mad. But
We'll have to act that part out, and somebody's gonna have to be her attorney when he jumps up. They're trying to slander or
I know.
whatever. I don't think that he used the word slander, but it
Yeah.
was great.
I mean, all that flipping around over there and throwing herself and pulling on him and pulling him down and I don't even know what the sound I kept hearing every blue moon was, this thumping noise. And I would look and I didn't see somebody moving paper and kind of agitated, and maybe that was the sound on the table. I'm not saying she was hitting the table, but there was something going on. There was some kind of mm, banging, slapping, some kind of sound every now and then. I was like, what the hell is she doing? But yeah, I just feel like she, it's just,
Which clip was it? It was a clip of her saying, "I if you use my content, I will strike you."
it doesn't matter how
Yep.
much of it, how little. And that's what some of my strikes, one of them had 6 seconds.
Yep. Hey, Martha.
And then they tried to say, well, this thing was recorded, a year after all her strikes. And the judge ruled on it and said, nope, it doesn't matter. That shows intent. I mean, that's not the word he used, but he had some explanation about it,
Hmm.
and he let it in and stood on it because he even mentioned it after lunch when they tried some motion thing they were trying to shut it all down after we closed. So as soon as we came back from lunch, they spent an hour with him going through this motion. And anyway, in that, judge ruled in our favor, and that was one of the things he mentioned. But she was like all tore up about that's out of context. Well, no, my attorney made sure that the clips we were going to use were what we call clean. There was no other thing behind it where she says, but it's under fair use or you're bullying, harassing me, and all the things she does. Because she likes to set things on fire and then kind of put it out at the same time. So a clean clip is where she just literally is saying the threat and nothing else. And there were several of them, and that was just the one that was played, and it came out blaring. And she was so mad in that clip and gritting her teeth. It was like, I
Hmm.
don't care how little it is. And it's just blaring. Everybody jumped. And I was like, yep, that just shows how deranged. Right there, right
Hmm.
there. Even if you took the loudness, it's still the delivery of it as a threat, a continuous threat. I'm going to strike and strike and strike. But anyway, it
Right.
was a
And the
moment of,
attorney must have already, I mean, for him to know that that was a year later, they already knew that was coming in. They already knew. But you know what? That was just one y'all found. I guarantee you, you could have found one before, if you really, really looked, because she has said that so many times.
we had a ton. I mean, I'm telling you, the list was as long as my leg. I had a point, back when we got our evidence together, when it was due, we had a column for just me, as in how to know, and then other channels, and then maybe me and other channels. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
I had it all broken down. He just went through them. And like I said, those were a few because, again, I was like, man, she said all the things. Why not? And he said, this is clean. They can't say it was out of context. And exactly what he said is exactly what they did. Threw a fit to want to play the whole thing. 2 hours and 45 minutes. And because I
Hmm.
was talking to somebody else and, and whatever her excuse was. But again, Jonathan entered it because it was a clean clip. It wasn't, there was no other part of it to say that, oh, we took that part off, where a lot of the other ones, like I said, she would say fair use, or she would say bullying, harassment, or just, all her frick shit, the victimizing. And so, anyway, so she was really mad, but whatever. I
Hey,
mean,
Jamie. Yeah, she was mad. That was,
okay.
I don't know. That's one of the most, like, I know that you couldn't enjoy it because you were so stressed, but it's pretty entertaining to watch the show she put on. So,
Oh, it was. I mean, I really, I mean, am I human? 100%, but it really didn't, all of it did not overwhelm me as bad. I think I was just so sick. And so, overwhelmed too. That's why, like, some things I can't remember until you bring something up, and I'm like, oh yeah, like last night I remembered something else she did. And you know what I mean? So little pieces come back in time, but I knew she was going to do the whole fall apart part. That there wasn't any doubt. When we came back from lunch and he was going to put her on the stand again, I knew then she was mad because, especially after that motion she lost, the judge kept saying this is not a verdict, but she was about to stroke. Punches by us, we had prepared for. She still got some jabs in because that's her. She
mhm,
can't stick to the truth or the question. But whatever, that's her thing, and I, you know, it would suck to be her, but whatever.
it would.
It would suck. Again, it wasn't hard. I had no problem with Mark. Um, I, I wasn't going to let him intimidate me, but I knew I had the truth. And when he asked me, oh, that's what it was. Something about the salmon video where she's cooking and drowned in the poor salmon in butter.
That is when I laughed. Okay, and I didn't laugh out loud, but I thought I was gonna have to. leave the courtroom because I couldn't stop laughing when you said,
I know. Apparently, they asked me, and I had said, at that point, he was going through different videos. Mark was. So, what did you do to that one to make it fair use? And I was like, oh, well, I took two or three of hers, sliced them together, and I put all the things, on the screen. I changed the stuff. I went through the whole list I said for every video. And that one in
mm-hmm.
particular, I was like, well, what? I think he asked something about why. And I don't know. I said some things, and y'all said, I said, she was just beating the hell out of salmon or
No,
something.
you said, and I mean, and look, it just came out of your mouth. It wasn't even a dig. You said she was beating, she was beating that salmon to death.
I know. I don't even know. That is not like what. I, but it also made her go crazy when they asked about a video about her children. It was titled about your son said he doesn't know how to pray, and I did eventually change that title before litigation. This is before this, ever even thought about coming to trial. And they asked me why, and I said because I didn't like it. I genuinely didn't. Anyway. Point is, she had gone after people so heavily at that point about their religion and just being
Yes.
horrible. And so I had took part of those clips and put that in there along with this other part. And that was hard for me to bring up, like just with the boys there. Like it just, I thought,
Yes.
damn it, nothing has ever been an attack to them. It was for you to be a better mother. And here you got them innocently sitting in here bored as hell. It just was awkward. But that one I got to explain and I knew what I was going to say. I knew about it, but he wanted me to say like what every little text I put across the screen and every little thing. Some of them I kind of knew, but no, I don't know every single thing. Like for 12
Right.
videos, are you kidding me? Like, no, sir, I don't recall. That's just the honest answer. I can tell you that every single one of them went in editing the app, and I changed the background. I sped it up. I changed her voice some. I did all the things that I've been told that we do, and that's all I can do. I just own what
Yes.
it is. But whatever. She. It's all good. But anyway, I didn't want to take up your time rambling on.
No, I'm glad you came up. I didn't see your text.
No, that's
Because I
okay.
turned the sound off. I'm glad you came up.
I
I
just felt bad
wanted
when
to
I heard
hear
you say
from you.
maybe by 5, and I thought, oh my God, I think we all thought that Friday, and then when that happened, I just thought, yeah. But I still, even with the Friday thing, didn't realize there was a 5 o'clock deadline. Like I think when we stood up and all that was discussed for a few minutes, like the blood completely went out of me. Like I just remember thinking, like I feel like I'm gonna pass out now. I think it was just the end of the day. I was dehydrated, all the things that I was just worn out. And I just
Yes.
could only hear a few things like, why are we putting this off? Why are we considering closing tomorrow? But I didn't realize till we left that it was what, almost 4:30. So that was why. But we didn't have a phone or a clock. So I had no idea that that motion argument took for so long. But of course it did. But anyway, so,
Oh
and then when the
yeah,
whole
I was
thing
about to
moved to
fall
Friday,
asleep.
yeah, when it moved to Friday, I was just like, oh, okay. I mean, again, I really wanted to be there with Jackie when we got the news. I wanted y'all to be there. You know what I mean? Like it just was a letdown for that. But we just turned it into, oh my gosh, this is great. We got even more time to have fun. And I got to go hang out with you and Pink that night. And oh my God, we had so much fun laughing. And I mean, Randy goes from Tennessee to New York and goes fishing. I mean, you can't even make this up. I was like, that is priceless. Absolutely priceless. Like, who thought? Um, but it was just, all in all, it just, there was a lot of funny things that happened. You know what I mean? Like I could say, like I don't even know. I thought the I Love Lucy episode every day, but you just had to laugh.
Yes.
Between Uber Goobers and I don't, and no one could understand me. They would say, "Oh my God, I love your accent." But it's like I'm speaking English. I'm slowing down. Like
Yeah.
I don't
What
understand.
I know when I was leaving, so I went to this gas station because I filled up with gas. I needed ice for my cooler, and so I said, "Do you sell ice?" And he said, "What?" And I said, "Do you sell ice?" And he said, "No." And so I said, "Okay." And I walked out and I saw this big cooler, ice cooler, like, that they have at all the convenience stores. And so I'll go back in and I said, "Well, you have a ice cooler out here with a lock on it." He said, "What are you saying?" And I said, "Ice." And then he started trying to teach me how to pronounce ice. Like he was saying ice. I can't. So I bought 2 bags of ice, but I don't know what he thought I was asking for if not ice.
Well, that's kind of, I think it sometimes, whatever. I know one time I told a guy he'd made me mad. We were trying to get on a bus and they told us where to go. And we walked all the way down there in 1,000-degree weather and came back and I found him and I'm like, dude, you're fired. And he's like looking at me funny and he's on the phone. And I'm like, that's Fired. Fired. I mean, I knew that word was a goner, but it just was hilarious. You just have to laugh. Like, I'm sure they have just as much trouble understanding me as I do them sometimes too. So everything I had to spell out, or I don't even know, but it was just quite hilarious. The Uber Goober nightmares. Just I don't even know. There was just
See,
all
I
of it
was
was so
listening
funny.
to that.
Last night, yes, it just on Florida Grays last night. Jackie and I went up there and kind of talked about a little bit of this stuff, and I just went through all the things I could remember. It was just like one thing after another. It was just like, oh my god, I'm literally sitting in the guy's car at the condo at the end of the day from seeing New York. Like, you can't be any more hungry, thirsty, sleepy, hungry, grumpy. All the things rolled into one. I was. I owned it. I was in that space and
Mhm.
couldn't wait. So I get the Uber. From the train station immediately. He was waiting on us, and we went up and got in it. And here we go to the condo. Well, as soon as we pull up, Jackie jumps out. Well, I had changed my card. And so prior to that, my PayPal would send a confirmation. So I'd always ask, you got the payment, everything's good? And they said, yep, before I jump out of the car. And so this time, it doesn't have that. It's not doing that feature. So I'm asking him, and he's like, pointing his phone, nope, nope, nope. And I'm just like, what? Huh. So I'm looking through there on the app, and it shows past rides, and that's the ones included in past. Like there's no fee still out there. There's no, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. If I try and put it on another card, there's no amount to put it on even. And he just, I don't think the whole time he was understanding any of my explanations. I'm not aware of this the whole time. I'm just talking away. I'm like, sir, I'm even getting on customer service. I don't know what to do. It came to a point that I just literally sat there and thinking, okay, so what do you do at this point? Oh, I offered cash. Can't do that. So I thought, well, what are you going to do? Hold me for ransom? Like, I don't know what to do. And about that time, he started pointing to the window and saying something. I had no idea what he was saying. And I said, my friend, yes, she's gone in. You. I said, yes, me too, when I get you. Oh, no, 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 you're good, you're good. And I was like, what? So in other words, he thought since there was two people, I might be going someplace different. It wasn't the bill. But nothing was ever clear. You know what I mean? Like I'm fighting one thing that he thinks it's another. And I'm just like, oh my God. So I got so tickled. I get back in the room. I walk all the way back up there. And I called Queen Jackie, had already changed her clothes, spread out on the bed with her cute little pedicure feet. You know what I mean? I'm sweating like a bullet. I shut the door. I'm like, oh my God, you just went bullet. She goes, well, I started to wonder if there was a problem with your card. I was like, really? I could have been kidnapped, held for ransom. I mean, all the things. You just left me. And she's
She's
like, well,
just
I
there
could.
chilling. You could have been murdered. Yeah.
Yeah, she did say I did think you might be standing out there smoking, which, again, I really wasn't fussing at her. It was just the point. It's like I was just like, I cannot believe this is just happening. It was so funny. But so it was things like that. You just couldn't help but laugh and just think, okay, fine. I don't know.
Thank you. Thank you for the PayPal. I won't say your name because it's your real name. Thank you. Uh,
No, I didn't film it. I should have.
I know, I wish I'd filmed so much. Hey, Nunya, but I was just trying to soak it in and take it in, and
Oh yeah,
like I would
that
take
was us.
pictures. Yeah. And I wanted Jim to, because like we were messaging the whole time, and I wanted Jim to experience it with me. And so I
Right.
would take a picture, send it to him, take a picture, send it to him. Like, and, but I should have made a video. It was so, because,
Listen,
when you're,
this is so how it went every day that like again you just had to laugh and I was like I refused for 10 seconds for it to bother or a few minutes I had to like kind of get out of that mode be like okay moving on to the next thing. So anyway, this day in particular, the same day y'all went in, we took the train, we're gonna get on the bus two-tier bus. We're going to ride around and see all the sights and decide what we want to do from there. So from point A to point B was a whole lot of things to get there. And so we finally get to in front of the library, which is no small feat, where they say it might be, could be, there are a couple of blocks is not my kind of couple of blocks or down the hill as they call it. That meant a lot of walking, which, again, but if you're running to catch a bus, so anyway, we finally get on this bus. And when you go in it, it's really narrow to walk through the inside and there's no air. No windows are open. It's so hot. I thought I was going to pass out. And so Jackie's in front of me, and we have these little bitty steps that spiral up to the top of the deck. And when you get up there and you sit on the seats, they've been sitting in the sun. And when I tell you, my ass was on fire, I was singing that for a while because you could not sit down. It was so hot. And I put my hand on another seat and it'd be just as hot. And I'm like, damn, this is serious.
Yeah.
So anyway, at some point, I move over to the edge where I could take pictures better, and the sun was shining really bad in the picture and the buildings at some point, and I was like, "Dang, I'm just shooting, and I have no idea if I'm even getting them." I'm turning the
Yeah.
brightness up on my phone, and I'm like, "What the hell?" And I even say something to Jackie, and she goes, "What happened to your lens?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "That one," and I go to touch my sunglass, and the lens had fell out. And apparently it was the right side, which is probably my dominant eye, obviously. And so all the times when I'm taking off my readers to that, nothing was helping. And I was thinking, damn, what is the problem here? Is it just me? You know what I mean? And I have no idea. Like, I wondered, like, it's nowhere on the floor or around us. So I'd had them on my shirt. So it could have happened earlier. But I also could have been walking around on the sidewalk for God knows how long with one, one lens hid because I'm sure Jackie wasn't just quite looking right at me. But her face was so funny when I turned around. She's like looking and saying something and pointing, and I'm like, "What the hell are you saying?" Oh, well, yeah, that would make a difference because these were really good. They're like photo, whatever, high dollar, great reflection. I was just like, "Oh my god, no wonder." I had no idea. I was like, "Yeah, this is just par for the course. Is it going like okay?" So I just sit there and go, "Okay, my ass is on fire. I'll just shoot some more pictures." So
Oh,
yeah,
that's
that was just
great. Thank
that
you,
con-
Infidel Lady.
just constantly was something crazy like that. But anyway, I mean, they you gotta laugh.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
All
absolutely.
right, well I love you. I'm gonna
Absolutely.
jump down and go go in there and check on the chicken. Got something in the oven and see if it's ready. But
Okay. Well, thanks for
thanks
coming
again, and I
up.
had so much fun seeing you. All right, we'll talk
I
soon,
did
and
too.
hopefully
Even though
next
we
few days.
got soaking wet, we sat there and got soaked
Oh
on our
yes,
backs and had no idea that I know it
it
started
came up
raining.
pour. Hmm.
Yeah, and we were under an umbrella, and Pink is just sitting there dry as it could be. And
Hmm.
we stood up, and it just got
I
us.
think what happened is it was not so much running off the umbrella because I think we made it past that part, but it was like splashing off the chair because I had leaned up in my chair or scooted up on the edge. But I was
Yeah,
like you, my jean capris, the butt was just soaked. My shirt wasn't as wet as yours. You were soaked too. But
yeah,
it just was like, how in the world? Like, I mean, I felt it and I could tell I was getting a little wet, and I didn't care. It was so hot, you didn't care. I
yes,
mean, it just came up all of a sudden. It was like either we could run in and get soaked, or we could just sit there, but it was just so funny. I don't
yeah.
know. I'm like, well, no big deal. We'll just go change clothes. I'll be fine. You know.
It happens.
Yeah,
That was fun. I enjoyed it so much. I did. I hated the circumstances, but I really enjoyed it. It was totally worth driving.
that's when I said, I think Merv keeps making jabs about this hate bonding or whatever. A- And I thought, man, you just don't get it. These women are just good women. And if I called them at 2 o'clock in the morning, they would be there. No doubt. And I think, yes, they all,
Yes,
everybody kind of wanted to come and hear what happened 100%. But they also were a lot to do with this all along. And it just wasn't anti-Merv, type thing. And I thought, she'll just never understand that bond. I mean, and I'm not talking like the bond of my dear friends that if you call me, I'll bring the zip ties and the duct tape kind of thing. No, but I mean, just literally, these are just good women. And it was so good to put a face with a name and just have that support and just knowing, oh my gosh, I can't tell you. I mean, I get emotional thinking about it. It just, there's no words. Even the people in the comments, under, community posts that were counting down, or the night before
Yes.
we were on the way to a stupid airport, and there's 180 people all nonstop the whole night. It was just crazy. I mean, just so. And then we ended the live, and it was like some crazy amount of numbers, and it was just very humbling. And I've always said I don't take that for granted. This was a huge amount of people behind it, even though my name was the only one on that piece of paper. And that's why when he asked me that question, and he asked about, oh, you've been running around bragging that you already won. Well, yeah, I have. And I thought about it a minute before I answered it, and I thought, well, that's the truth. That's the same response I've been saying for months. So I don't know why they thought that was a good question, because I didn't change it. And number
Right.
two, Mark said, well, that's the end of my questions. And Jonathan stood up, and I thought, okay, he's going to do a little bit of rebuttal on a few things prior to that. He said, I rest your honor. And I said, oh, Jonathan knew that was like the moment ended. That
Yeah,
was
because you.
perfectly needed to be said. It was
Hmm.
exactly, I wasn't trying to be ugly. I just said the facts, and that's how I felt. And I said again, you can be nervous 100%. You're human. Plus, I was so sick. I just was trying not to, cough and carry on.
Oh, I felt so
But,
bad for you. Yes. Up there eating
oh my
cough
God.
drops.
Yes, constantly. And, like I'm literally trying to breathe without passing out, because, I can't take a deep breath. And I'm kind of taking my time, because I told the court reporter, I'm so sorry. First of all, I'm Southern. Plus, I'm sick. And it was really hard to understand. But I said, but I'm not contagious, and they kind of laughed. But,
Mhm.
so I would try and slow down, because when you're nervous, you do go faster. And I wanted to think about the answer, but it wasn't that hard, really. I mean, there was a lot that he said, asked that was puzzling, 100%, but most of it was pretty easy. Other than he did come back about the salmon and ask me, was I a chef? And they said the look on my face was priceless. And I said, well, I think I was just shocked by the by that question. Like, no. But my answer should have been, well, no, but I am a mother. I do cook a lot. And, people like my food. We have people over quite often. So I don't know. I would guess you wouldn't consider it a chef, but I do know the basics. But anyway, it just was funny that he asked, are you a chef? Well, of course
Oh, I
not.
forgot he said that. Yeah, because you said she was beating it to death, and he said, "Are you a chef?"
Yeah.
Like,
And
is that
Jonathan,
a
yeah.
legal question? I mean, are you
Yeah.
asking that for you?
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Well,
In
both
fact,
Jonathan and the judge at the same time were like, no, 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 you can't, blah, blah, blah. But it just was funny. I mean, I think they did. In my mind, maybe, I don't know. But I just, those are the times I'm just like, okay, yeah. But whatever.
see,
It's
I
all good.
completely forgot about that. Yeah, and the hate bonding thing. Look, I recognize hate bonding. Trust me, but no, what you have here, Merv, is a group that became friends, and we wanted to support our friend.
Yeah. I
We
mean,
can talk about
again,
anything, not just you.
she says, everybody just runs over there together and they all hate each other. They just have a common hate for her. And I mean, listen, when you have a group full of thousands of women, you're going to have some disagreements and stuff. But there's nobody that I hope's got mad at me or I'm
Yes.
mad at them that I despise that much. They still could probably call me and I would do something if they needed it. You know what I mean? But again, her understanding that kind of feeling towards another human, I always go back to it. She can't comprehend it. So again, the judge, a pointer finger is all she has left. You know what I mean?
Right.
And again, I said for the same, I didn't care if no one came. I was there on a mission. I couldn't, even when I hugged some of y'all before court, I even said, I'm going to give the half hug. I have to stay away from you. I have to keep that guard up. I
Yes.
couldn't get emotional, because I knew if I ever started crying, I'd be a wreck. And I did not want, so I had this distance, where I was just kind of almost pushing people away, like, I'm glad you're here, but that's all we're gonna say for now. At lunch, I'll hug all your necks. You know what I mean? Like, that was different, but and I just thought, she doesn't get it. And to have that many come, and there were several other that were gonna come that couldn't, and things happened. But even then, it didn't matter if it was 1, 0, or 100. If she'd had 1,000 on her side, it still was gonna be the same outcome.
Yes.
I still was gonna get up there and say whatever I needed to say, tell the truth, and let's just move on. That's the end of it. But yeah, it's just. But I did ask about the transcript, and he said you can request it early, but it's really expensive, because the faster you want it, the more expensive. And I'm sure it's going to be quite thousands of pages, because that's a lot. So I didn't bother him any more than that. He didn't think there was anything about an audio, but I did try. And so I will remind him after we get through this next little bit. about the transcript. Now's not the time, prior to him finishing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was really just letting him focus. In fact, when I was on the phone, he's like, I know you have more questions about. I go, no, 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 not today. No, not today. You'd be proud of me. Nope. I'm sticking to just Friday and what's coming up. That's it. After whatever happens, we can explain it later. I have no idea what's coming, 100%, nothing. So I'm like, nope, you need to get back to doing what you're doing, and I'll go back to doing I'm doing. But, it's
Right.
so funny. Okay, well, I'm going to go now. I love y'all. Thank y'all again.
We love you.
I'll
We
go
love
back
you.
and read the comments in a little bit. Okay, thank you. Talk to y'all later. Bye.
Thanks for coming up.
No, thanks for letting me. Okay, wait a minute. Why is this all different now?
Right.
Okay,
They've updated it and I couldn't.
where's the exit button? It's got a,
Um,
it's got a, I don't know what this is. It looks like a share button.
an arrow. I think it's an arrow.
Is that it? Okay, let me try it.
Yep, that's it. She's down. Yep. I think we proved that we meant we're all held to the no. I think so, Jamie. I'm sure we can get the transcript. Um, and it's going to be. It's too bad it's not recorded, but some states do and some states don't. But it would be awesome because this one should have been televised. I swear, so crazy. Typed in Randy Life, get a totally different channel. uh Absolutely mad that she had supporters and has to make up that they secretly hate each other. Explain how me and Sandy Law have now known each other for about 8 years and never had the first argument, Merb. Come on. Me and Pink shared a room for 4 days and nights. No arguments whatsoever. Just laughs, good times. Nobody here doxed me, lied on me, Merb. There you go, Jamie. Exactly. She's big mad that her party bus never came to fruition. We really should have had. She stated all of this. When someone leaves your channel, you don't make your contact. You don't make them content for months. Absolutely no. Hey, Beth. No, I've had plenty of people leave me and just quietly never said a word. Just, it is what it is. You can't keep people against their will and you can't make someone like you when they don't. Now, it's hurt my feelings before. Obviously, it just does sometimes, but you don't drag them down. But y'all, I'm gonna go. It's getting late. It's starting to. I don't know if it's the weather. Where we've had a couple of storms today. And I want to read up about this. Whatever happened in Kentucky. But I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much for coming and joining us. And no, not yet, Shamat, because she doesn't speak about ongoing cases. That would just be against her beliefs. I love y'all, and I will see y'all soon. Bye, y'all.